What is the unobvious thing that you struggle with?
Unobvious.
Yeah.
Unobvious thing that I struggle with. I think I wear everything on my face and I talk about everything. So how unobvious could it be? Maybe unobvious to other people, but not unobvious to you. Um, the unobvious thing I struggle with would probably be self-doubt. Not knowing if I'm actually going to fulfill my dreams. I think since I was young, maybe everyone said how resilient I was or how I would always go for everything that I want within my life. But that's not true. I didn't go for everything that I want. I think that's not very obvious. What about you?
The first thing that comes to mind for me would probably, I want to say public speaking. But yeah, I would definitely say public speaking ever since I was a kid. Like, for example, if I was in the classroom or anything and I was called on, literally like panic attacks happening. They didn't want to answer any questions or speak too loud. And I see now in my adult life when it comes to meetings or just speaking to anyone like casually at the grocery store, I kind of have to think about what I'm saying and replay it in my head over and over and then think about maybe the person's reaction, my reaction.
But do you think like to the other person, it's obvious that those things are happening? Probably not, because you're so like poised
right
together.
Exactly
Right.
But there's so many times where I'm speaking to anyone in general and I would say you're speaking to you is like the exception because you spend so much time together. But if it's not you, then I'm always thinking about choosing my words wisely, because I have a fear of, I guess, saying things that might come across in the wrong way.
Right.
So really like choosing my words. And sometimes I think that comes naturally to so many people where they just say exactly what they want to say. But for me, I'm usually like replaying my thoughts and my sentences in my head before it even comes out.
I think that just sounds like also like overthinking. And I think that's something that even building our brand right now is going to help us with.
Right.
I think achieving more will help me with my self-doubt. And for you, doing this brand like right now, it's going to build your confidence within public speaking.
Exactly. And even from our mood board video, I feel like we both got so much better at our speaking styles. And if you look at some of our bloopers, we're really like making errors in our speech or getting like tongue-tied, but then not stopping the video but just continuing over and over again, even if it takes 5 or 10 times. Like just never stopping or thinking, oh my gosh, why am I saying this like this? Oh my gosh, or just picking on yourself or calling yourselves names. We're just like, okay, let's just do it over again and again and again and again. And by watching that video, I'm like, oh wow, actually I don't sound that bad at all.
No, you don't sound bad. You sound very intellectual. Like you sound very smart. Your words come across very well.
It's so funny because when I'm speaking and everything to myself, oh my gosh, I want to sound smart. But it's more of, am I pronouncing my words accurately? Because again, from our background where we grew up, we spoke a lot of broken English.
Yeah.
So I'm always thinking about, can people actually understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Well, I think you do a very good job at it. And that's not something that you need to worry about. I think with time, we both will improve our language, which I think we're
working on,
and it's been getting better. I think also since the pandemic, we haven't spoken a lot, just mainly to each other. So you might find that a lot of things we say are very similar, but that's just because we spend so much time with each other, which is also a great thing because, that thing that people say, you're like the 5 people closest to you, like that's usually who go end up being. So for us, it's a positive to be able to be next to each other, and hoping that when we do build our network, we're able to establish relationships with people that can also help us with the way we speak just from being around them.
Listening to you speak, like, how we're in this calm environment and everything just seems like really relaxed. Also, the environment I'm in as well is extremely helpful. Like, if you're in a meeting or in a coffee shop where people are around, it's completely different. Or if you're trying to like record a video and you have a certain goal where like, okay, I want to hit this point or this point, then those extra pressures make it super uncomfortable. But this environment is extremely relaxed. So again, it just depends on the environment.
Yeah. You know what? Talking about creating a network, I saw a TikTok video with someone with a lot of friends, and she was sharing like the job titles of all the friends. And they looked like they were maybe in their 30s. And so I commented like, but where did you guys meet each other? And she replied, social media.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like even with us talking about, like, since the pandemic, we haven't been able to build relationships and stuff. Like social media is such a great place. Even us putting ourselves out there, it's helping us in so many ways, but also it's going to help us with the networking piece.
Right. And I agree with that so much. And I know one of our solid goals this year, or even like a long-term goal, is to have a community. And that's why I'm like, okay, let me do the uncomfortable things. So maybe seeing my authentic self, my mistakes, or seeing that I'm not perfect, and also attract more people into our circle.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just looking forward for all of that.
Yeah.
Networking, finding our tribe.
For sure.
If you could be part of any brand or company, past or present, which would it be and why?
Whoa,
that's such an interesting question.
You're all good. Wow. That's like, I think, one of our neighbors, and I was looking at him and he thinks I'm looking at him, but really I'm just looking at his face thinking about my answer for this question. Anyways, I think it's hard to say exactly, because what's important to me is company culture, and what you see outside on a company is not always what the inside functions is like, and that just comes from also experiencing it. I worked for Zara for a few years, and what people think when they probably walk into the store is not what the environment is like in the back of the scenes. Like, it's a pretty toxic work environment. And I remember thinking to myself, I really wanted to work there. But anyways, in the social media world, content creation world, I think some of my dream brands to work with would probably be like Revolve, Dior.
And what would be your title there?
Probably it would be something to do with their branding.
Like, I know one thing you're great at. For example, like, what's that car company called? Kia?
Oh, yeah.
Like, one day we were like in a car and we saw Kia's logo and we're like, oh my gosh, why is this logo like so tacky? And then a year later, the logo changed. And that's something that you spotted. You're like, if they could just make this logo a bit more minimalistic, or just do something different.
It's almost like a few months later, like this, we spotted Kia's with a different logo. And I literally talked about, and that was like years ago. That was our first apartment we moved into in this city. And I saw that car just like, and I'm like, yeah, if they change this logo, this company would change. And now we're in 2025, and Kia is one of the best cars that we see on the streets. And sometimes it just takes that little change within a company for their branding to basically build their customer, the amount of people that are wanting whatever product they're selling.
And I think they move now to, I guess, their customer demographic shift from the younger audience to a bit more older, maybe people in their late 30s, early 40s that are looking for more, I don't know, that higher middle class
electric cars, and just like the modern design. Yeah.
Right. So I think now they're on par with middle class. Higher middle class.
They're almost on par with Tesla, which is crazy because they were so far off.
And it's just that little
from competing.
Like, who came in? I guess we need to do some research on that. Like, who came in and decided, let's switch this logo? Because my sister definitely saw that first and decided, hey, if they can just switch that logo, then the brand would to a great Swift.
What about you? What company do you think you would want to work for?
You know, I've never dreamt of working. I've never. This is such a difficult question for me because I'm like, while you're speaking, I'm thinking about what company would I want to work for. If you could be a part of any brand or company, past or present, which would it be and why? Yeah, this is a very difficult question for me.
She's not meant to work.
Yes, I'm not meant to work. But I can tell you what type of company I would love to work for. And just based on the experience I've had working with agencies, I would love to work with a company that aligns with making things work for their employees. So, for example, like this year, I talked so much about balancing work and personal life. And if you're working at a company, like I would like to work at a company, for example, that supports parents not missing a basketball game, or still taking their time to have like a birthday trip from, I don't know, Thursday to Friday, or deciding like, hey, can that coworker cover for this shift? Just having a lot of flexibility, work-life balance. And work-life balance has become such a trendy thing that companies just quote in their culture, but until you actually work there, like, you never know.
Yeah.
And something that is huge in work culture is a lot of gaslighting.
Our bars are soft. We should have started eating them.
Oh yeah, we forgot to eat our bars. But yes, a company that doesn't gaslight you, make you think that you don't know what you're talking about. So having a work-life balance, really taking the lead on different responsibilities. For example, if something happened or a shift in the company or someone left, don't gaslight one person to complete everything and do the job of 4 people. Right. So if there was a company that I wanted to work for, work-life balance, this might be a bit like off-putting, but when it comes to like company culture and there's a team, I do believe like people in that team should at least be cordial, like be friends, be able to actually sit and have coffee with each other.
Right.
So I feel like if you do like the people you work with, you're going to do a better job.
Yeah.
So yes, working as a team. I think the best companies, like, they have great teammates, people that like each other, and they're not just doing their job for a paycheck.
Yeah. Okay. Those questions were quite insightful.
Right. Quite insightful.
I think they also tell a lot about our personalities and who we are and our thoughts. And also, I think it also matches some of our brand mission and vision that we have for ourselves, which includes being someone who is authentic and building community and support. And you're definitely going to see more of that within our content and our ideas and just watching us build this brand. We have a few, I think, TikTok videos. There's different videos we know we can post on different platforms to create some content, some ideas, and we're just gonna go over those together. And you should be seeing more from us pretty soon. I'm Nee. And I'm Zai, and thank you for watching our YouTube channel.